Our assignment right now, however, is to come back to the perfect tense and build the paradigm. All right? The basic verb paradigm. And I've already indicated how this is going to work. There are three pieces to the verb paradigm chart. The structure, of course, is divided into persons, numbers, and genders. And again, we've got a 3-2-1 scheme here. Okay? The first part of every verb form, in a sense, is the root itself. And we're simply using the arbitrary choice of katal because it's a regular paradigmatic root. The second thing we're looking at are the endings. And we noted that in the third singular masculine there is no ending. In the third singular feminine now, can you do this from memory already? What should this end in? The third singular feminine should end in comets hay. Okay? The second masculine has a ta ending. The second feminine has a t ending. Now, I'll come back and talk about this in a moment because you probably are wondering what in the world this schwa is all about, right? Or did you just accept that by faith, if not by sight? The first singular common ends in t, right? In the third plural, I have it all on here. The ending is oo. And in the second persons, we have these so-called strong endings. By strong, they mean a consonant, vowel, consonant, full closed syllable. Tem in the masculine and ten in the feminine. And finally, in the first plural, we have the ending nu. Question on this so far? Yeah?
On the second person feminine singular, in the book it doesn't have an accent mark. Earlier you said it was on the second.
I'm going to get to that. Hang on. That's part of the problem. This form is a bit of an oddity in more ways than one. All right, the third part, and the trickiest part, and we went over it very quickly at the end of class this morning, is adding the vowels and accents and filling in the blanks now so that you can actually pronounce these words. And while this is important to knowing the words, I've saved it to last because, again, at the bare bones minimum, being able to spot the ending, which is going to tell you the person, number, gender, and how it's really how it's functioning within a sentence, and identifying the three-letter root, which is going to give you the meaning of the verb, you can figure out most of your verb forms just by knowing this. All right? Again, that doesn't help you very much in actually saying or reading the words or knowing the language, but you can kind of fake your way through. Not that any of you would really want to do that. The basic pointing of the kal perfect is katal. That you should now have in your head. All right? Katal. Frankly, that pointing, those vowels, are the foundation for all the other forms. In fact, that comets is really there in every other form except where it disappears. But do you see that it's really not changing? The fact that we're going to change this comets to schwa is because it is a comets first. So let's just leave it this way, even though you know already we're going to change these two. But that's for a different reason. That comets is a relatively helpful constant for the so-called perfect conjugation. Okay. Now, it's the middle vowel, the second vowel, that causes a little bit of trouble. Okay? And I tried to explain this morning that it can make some sense if you realize the difference between vocalic suffixes, which are the two third-person suffixes, and the consonantal suffixes, which is everything else, or the second and first person set. With vocalic suffixes as almost a standard operating principle with verbs, you get a vocal schwa before a vocalic suffix. So instead of katal, you now have ka to la. Ka to la. And the scribes usually put that little metheg there, that little line, to remind you that that's a long vowel and an open syllable. If that's what happens with this vocalic suffix, it's also what happens to this vocalic suffix, and you get ka to lu. With the consonantal suffixes, which is, by the way, everything else, what you really have is this vowel pattern replicated. Just as this is kata,